the reality is our children, whether they are part of a sibling group, whether they are single children, um, a lot of the time in my personal experience, the children that I have looked after have never been only children. There has always been sibling dynamic
Sure.
of some kind. It's just that
Yeah.
they don't live with them.
Mm.
Um, it's all so different, and I think maybe if we can remove some of those social expectations of what we want siblings to look like, that
Yeah.
relationship to look like, it would allow us to accept where our children are at right now.
Mm. Mm.
Am
Yeah,
I being
definitely.
am I being too
Expectations and acceptance.
yeah. Am I
Yeah.
being too idealistic here?
No, I don't. I think you're right. I think you're right. And again, it's what society expects siblings to look like, to share celebrations, to, you know, eat together, and I'm talking about children growing into adulthood here, to celebrate, when your niece or nephew is born, the first grandchild and all that kind of thing, to all be together at Christmas. And it's just not realistic. It's just not how life is. So whilst we do want to respect the dynamic and the relationships of siblings with trauma, actually what is realistic and what is going to serve them best in future. And again, managing our expectations, accepting the reality, um, and again, all the complexities around grief and loss, not living with and I was just thinking about the roles as well. You might be the eldest sibling and then go into care and be split from your siblings. And now you're not the oldest child in the house. You might go to being the youngest. You've gone from being a big fish in a small pond to now the polar opposite. You've got people who are absolutely top dog here, and you've got to try and figure out where you fit in that. So you grieve the loss, not only of living with your parents, however difficult and abusive and harmful that might be. You're grieving the loss of perhaps other family members, just even your own bedroom.
Mhm. Mhm.
Even being in your own bed, however that might look, you're grieving so much of that family life, whatever it looked like, the family pet, seeing grandma on a Saturday, all of these kind of things. You're grieving all of those typical family things, however they did or didn't look. But now you're grieving the role that you had as being the eldest or the middle or the youngest. And you might now be the only child in the household. How intense must that feel from always being surrounded by potentially multiple siblings, and now you might be the only person. And yet it's because a social worker or another professional has gone, oh, it'll be great for them to have the attention all to themselves for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so many elements of grief and loss. And then we wonder why children struggle, why we see them be withdrawn, why we see them being aggressive, why we see them being angry, why
Yeah.
we see school look different, perhaps. There's so much more to this grief and loss and identity than we can probably ever fully understand, but we do need to take the time and space to reflect on that and really think about how we can support that therapeutically.
And as a parent, it's that ability to be able to take a step back and not lump them together, not
Definitely.
put them in the same bracket. They're siblings. I'm going to treat them exactly the same. Do I treat my children the same? I do, and I don't. I
Mm.
do treat my children the same because I give them the same level of nurture. I give them the same level of acceptance, and I give them the same level of being emotionally available for all of them.
Mhm.
But if one likes dinosaurs and the other likes football, that I can't treat them the same. There
Sure.
are
Sure.
natural differences. So this whole when you've got siblings, you have to treat them the same. We also need to use a little bit of, I would say common sense, but that doesn't exist. Logical thinking,
Yeah.
get this right, to be able to manage that dynamic and help our children grow their identity, help them understand themselves in whatever form that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,